Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 21 of the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. We are of drinking age here, and I have a really special episode for you today. It is an interview episode, but before I introduce that, let me introduce who I am. My name is Nina Adio, and I'd like to thank you for allowing this podcast into your earbuds, your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever you are listening from. On the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast, I discuss tips and tricks for wedding pros to DIY their social media or gain the confidence to outsource it. Today, what I'm really going to be talking about is gaining the confidence to do your own social media. And in order to do that, I had a chat with an expert, Carissa Kruse. Now, Carissa offers so many programs for wedding professionals, but she has a really big launch coming up for brides to bookings, where we're going to be when you join this course, you're going to be learning all about book weddings without the hustle. She herself has built a six-figure wedding business in her first year as a wedding photographer. From there, she expanded to also be doing DJ services, photo booth, wedding plannings. You're going to hear all about this in this interview that we did together. And it really listened, because what amazed me is just every question I asked, she answered with such value. It was just, you're going to love it. I was so excited because I think this is really going to help you guys with what you're trying to do. For those who aren't able to afford outsourcing their social media, she has such amazing options for you. So right now, if you go to Carissa Kruse Weddings on Instagram, and I'll have that linked in the show notes, she has her bio link set up to bring you the Brides to Bookings course. And you can also visit her website at CarissaKruseWeddings.com. But now let me show you the interview. All right, guys, here we are. I am with Carissa Kruse. And Carissa, I'm just so excited to be chatting here with you. I think I have to tell everybody how I got introduced to your work, which is, I've never had this happen before, but Carissa had this great Facebook ad about having stock photos for wedding professionals. And not only did I just click buy right away, but then I sent her an Instagram message thanking her for her ad and product. So has that ever happened to you before?
No, it hasn't. So that's why I was super excited when you reached out, because it was fun to it was just fun to get that, just because a lot of times you really want to help people, and that's kind of why I created that membership, was to really help wedding pros that don't have professional wedding photos to use in their marketing. So yeah, you just made my day when you had sent that, and yeah, I was just super excited when I got your messages.
Yeah, so it was love at first ad for Carissa and I. And what I discovered and why I wanted her here so badly was she has multiple programs and multiple options for wedding professionals. And I just knew that all of you listening would kind of just eat up everything she has to have. But so in light of that, can you tell us about starting Weddings by Carew? Because I know you started as wedding photography, and many of our audience members are in the process of still building their wedding business or transitioning to full time. And Carissa notes on her website that she was able to achieve a six-figure opening year without existing contacts, experience. So how did this happen?
So I kind of tripped into the wedding world, to be honest. I didn't it wasn't like a plan that I was going to get into it. I actually had a marketing company previously. So sales and marketing, business strategy is kind of my passion. And so I was working with a lot of small businesses. And then I started getting approached by clients that said, hey, do you do any wedding stuff, wedding, stationery, photography, all of that. It just it was really random. And so I ended up, was like, well, there must be a need of this of some sort. And so with my passion for photography and within the kind of stationery paper world of when we, from a marketing standpoint, when we lived in that whole world of doing print and all of that kind of stuff, I loved kind of that piece of it as well. So I started investigating, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna start a wedding business. And so I went to my husband, hey, we're going to start a wedding business. And he was like, what? And I was like, yep, we're going to do this. So I think it was August of that year. And in January, I signed up for a wedding expo. So from August to January, I really kind of prepped kind of everything we were going to do. I said, we're going to go big or go home. So we were right in the front. I did a 20 by 20 booth. And we just kind of had fun with it. And I did a lot of market research ahead of time. That was the big thing that a lot of times people miss. And so that is within the marketing world. Marketing research is so important. If you can really lay a good foundation for your business, you can excel and make roads faster in your business. So you can, get to where you want to go much quicker. And because of my business kind of background and marketing background, all of that, I was able to kind of put that foundation in place from the very beginning before we hit the ground running at that wedding expo. And so because we were able to do that, then we were able to kind of hit that 6 figures in that first year. So, but yeah, I had no experience in the wedding industry, no context, I had no real experience around the wedding industry. I had done photography previously. I had kind of graphic design background, all of that kind of stuff. So I had a lot of the elements that go into the wedding industry, but I really came in, brand new, knowing nothing at all. So it's been a lot of fun over the years learning about the wedding industry and how things work, because it is kind of a different beast in itself. Mm-hmm. Having my own wedding business still, I'm able to see what changes are happening and then be able to relay those on to other wedding pros so that they can implement it into their businesses so that they don't ever get stuck or stagnant in kind of their growth.
That was fantastic. There's so much value in just your first answer alone. First, I would say, I think it happens a lot where it's the wedding. I didn't choose the wedding business. The wedding business chose me. It's
right. Yeah.
What happens. But yep. I wanted to ask 2 things based on what you said. One, about expos. How important after, your debut year do you find expos to be for wedding professionals?
So we've consistently done wedding expos. So I've been in business for about 10 years now. And we do photography. So currently we do photography, videography, photo booth, and DJ. We've actually had, just so your audience knows, we actually did wedding planning for a little bit as well. So kind of experienced that whole realm. And so the wedding expos are fantastic if you approach them the right way. A lot of times people, what I find is they don't like, they don't want to be too salesy, which you don't need to be. There's ways that you can do it without, coming off slimy or sleazy, kind of because a lot of times what I say at wedding expos is you want to make it about the bride or, the person you're trying to attract, your ideal client. You want to give them some type of value. So, and you don't want to have too much going on in your booth. A lot of times I see there's a lot of things going on. And I actually did this in my very first couple of years. I had a lot of stuff going on in my booth, and it's just so overwhelming for the brides anyways, that it's simplistic is actually better. So that's what I found, is simplicity is actually better. And you always want to have a handout for them. And also I always have some type of giveaway item that they can, give away. And the one thing I'll give your audience, my favorite giveaway, and that my brides and loved, was nail files.
Clever. Okay.
Yep. Because they're inexpensive. Like, I think they were like, I don't know what they are now with inflation, but they were dirt cheap. Like you could get a ton of them. And it was cool because you could give one to the mom.
Yeah.
Or the mother-in-law or whoever. So you could, and that's something that stuck around, because you always want to think of something that'll stick around and that they'll use. And a lot of times, yep. And it's different, and they'll put it in their purse and it'll kind of stick around. So something that, so that I always try to get unique and creative around that. And so that's my one little tip for my expo gift. But wedding expos are great for exposure. They're great to generate leads. But there is a follow-up process. A lot of times, they're not going to book right on the spot, especially this generation of brides. They're not as quick to make decisions right away. So what I have found is you can do some type of booking special for whatever that is for the expo, but you don't want to pressure them into booking that day, because that really turns them off. So you can say, hey, I've got this booking special today, but you know what? I'm not going to make you decide today, because I get it that you're, it's overwhelming and whatever. And that actually comes off really nice to, like, they love that, because they're like, oh, thank you, because other people are putting that pressure on them and they don't like that pressure. So that's just another tip too. But overall, wedding expos are great. Some are, you've got to really kind of pick and choose which ones are right and which ones fit your ideal client. The ones that have people pay to get into are actually a little bit better, usually a little bit better clientele as well, because they might not just be there for the free stuff. So that's kind of something to look for. And as far as, I just did wedding expos this year as well, even. So I personally love them because I feel for brides in general, what they're doing, what they're asking, what they're looking for. And I use it kind of as, part of my market research as well, because I'm always doing market research to kind of see where we're at within the industry. So if a wedding expo fits into your marketing plan and, your budget, it's a fantastic, I think everybody should do at least one, so they can get a feel for them and kind of experience it. And some people just don't like wedding expos, and that's fine. You don't have to build them into your marketing plan, but I think everybody should at least do one wedding expo at some point in time in their business, because I think they'll get a lot out of it from just moving forward as they build their business.
Yeah, I think that's great advice too, to just try it, and see. You don't know what you don't know. So get involved and try it. And you mentioned again how it was a great opportunity for you for market research. Can you explain market research to somebody who may have no idea what you're talking about, of what they should be looking for, what their market research is going to, and you can do a brief overlay of it, because I know market research could be a huge thing and separate topic of its own. But what would you say to somebody who's just overwhelmed by the term alone, market research?
So market research doesn't need to be, I think a lot of times when people think market research and they think, oh, I'm like checking in on my competitors or whatever. It's not, don't look at it that way. Look at it as you're just trying to understand your ideal client. You're trying to figure out how you can best offer the best experience, the best products, the best services to your clients. So market research is actually one of the whole a module I have inside my course, where we really dive in and I go into nitty gritties on how to really do the market research. But overall, it's really just finding out what your ideal client is looking for. And you can do that by doing the market research, because you're able to find out, like, what do other people have, on their website, or what do other people, and you can look at, ones that are successful, ones that aren't successful, as successful, to kind of get an idea, what are they doing? What are they not doing now? And we don't copy anything. We're just more doing the digging in and just kind of seeing what others are doing. And then we're going to apply our own spin to it and our own brand to it. So we're not copying anything. That's the other thing. I think people think, oh, market research, we're just going to copy. No, we're not copying. Mm-hmm. We're just using it so that we can better understand the overall market that we're in, prices people are charging, so we can create the most value and the best experience for our business and our brand, and put our spin on it and all of that good stuff. So, but that is the most important piece to it. Market research to a business foundation, because if you don't do that, you're going to really miss the mark on a lot of things, because a lot of times we think we know what they want, what a bride wants, or groom or couple, whatever that they want. But really, a lot of times I find out when we do the market research, or we do some bride interviews, it's really it's different. It's not what we think is important. And that's what really comes and shines through is that, they have different views than what we think is important. So
yeah, and their priorities change over time, and that's such a great piece that you're going to have in the Brides to Bookings course, which we're going to get more into later. But that's I just want to really stress to the audience what a value having somebody walk you through market research is, because I wouldn't be able to do content for any of my clients without understanding their area and their market. And it's not about copying, it's just about knowing what's out there and knowing your audience and what they're experiencing, what they're seeing. So that's fantastic.
What I learned was, and I've worked on that wording, and that's kind of where we landed with, because a lot of times people thought we were outsourcing, and I was like, no, we actually have teams in each of those states. Sometimes in your marketing, you just need to state what it is, just put it directly out there. And that's kind of what we ended up doing, and it's worked really well. And if you do outsource, you want to make sure, those brides know that, because they should understand kind of, who they're working with, how that works, all of that type of stuff. So if you have freelancer, like if you have, so I look at it as kind of two different people. You have people that outsource and then people that are on your team. So we kind of have our people that are on our team, and then you can kind of talk around that with your brides or couples, on how that works. If you outsource, then you would talk around that on kind of how that works, that process works. But it's great to outline that so they understand and have a clear understanding when they're coming in on how you work your business, and how, just in general, how it all comes together. Because they don't ever want to feel like, a bait and switch type thing or something like that. So we want to be crystal clear. And that's kind of why we have that out there, we're the actual team and we never outsource. And sometimes within your marketing, just remember, and in your copywriting, it's okay to just state it as it is sometimes, if that's the easiest, clearest way to get it for your ideal client to understand.
I love it, because it's so true. I think transparency will pay off in the end, because it won't be worth the headache when somebody finds out too late that it wasn't what they thought it was. So you're going to be, like you said, crystal clear. And in that answer, you mentioned how you do other elements of the industry, such as DJ services and photo booths. So I wanted to talk about, what steps or research do you recommend professionals take when they look to expand and go to that kind of natural next step for them?
So what I always say is, listen to what your brides or couples are asking you. So are they asking you about any services you don't provide that you're having to turn them away for? So for instance, actually we added photo booths because I started getting requests for photo booths years ago. Funny enough, I actually just sent an email to my audience on this. But I had actually booked our first photo booth, and I didn't have the photo booth yet. And so I went to my husband, I said, we need to buy a photo booth, because I just booked a photo booth. And so, but what happens is usually within what we have wedding industry that's nice is usually the weddings, 9, 12 months, 18 months out. So you have time to figure it out. I actually ended up booking 8 photo booths before I purchased my photo booth, because I had time to be able to, figure that piece out. So listen to what your clients are asking you for, and see if that's a service that you can start implementing and provide. That's the biggest thing that I would recommend. I actually did photography, invitations, videography, and then we added in wedding planning, and we've kind of played with a few different services, and then we've kind of landed on our core 4. But that's also then how I added DJ service, because a lot of times when they're booking photography or videography, they're saying, hey, do you have DJ services, or who do you recommend for DJ services? Who do you? And so I was like, you know what, there's a need for this. So here I'm going to, add on the DJ services. So so that's kind of ended up adding the DJ on, and the photo booth. So you just have to listen to your clients and see kind of what they're asking for, and then add on that service if that's something that you're, open to adding into your business.
Fantastic. And you mentioned how you sent an email out today, and I have to say your emails are terrific because they're frequent and they're really value packed. So I have to everybody, Chris's information and website is going to be in the show notes. So you really should sign up to the emails. I mean, one, for the value, but two, just to see how she does it. Because if I had to sign up for one of your courses, your emails alone would prove to me that you know what you're doing.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for that.
Speaking of that, because your weddings are speaking to the wedding professionals, and when did you realize there was a void in marketing for wedding professionals, and how did you evolve into Carissa Kruse Weddings?
Yep. So it was a few years ago, as I've been in business for myself. I would run across people that were like, struggling, and they'd be like, hey, how are you doing this? Like, because we expanded into 3 states, and and so I've had people that have kind of followed me and things like that, and they're like, how are you doing this? What are you doing? Like, and so I'd start chatting with them, finding out what they're doing, seeing that they had a passion for the service they provide, but they didn't have kind of that background in that sales and marketing side of it. And that's really where my expertise shines through. And so I said, you know what, I'm big on helping people, achieve their dreams and, accomplish what it is that they want to do within life. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to help more wedding pros, build their business, because it's not, you just really need the right steps in the right order and the pieces, and put them in place. It's not rocket science by any means, but there is a system, and there is a path that you need to take in the right order to kind of make it work. So that's kind of what I've put together in my Brides to Bookings course, is this whole, is my whole strategy, which I call my fuel method. And because will fuel your wedding business. And so it's my strategy that I've created, that I've used to expand into those 3 different states. The one thing that's nice too is because I've been able to duplicate it myself, and then I've had my students that have duplicated it. So, because I did it in one state, I said, okay, can we do this in another state? You know what I mean? Can we do this here? Can we do this there? And so we've duplicated it multiple times. And so then that's when I said, okay, I need to get this out into more wedding pros' hands so that they can duplicate it as well in their markets and in their business. And so that's kind of how it all came about, is I was just, getting asked questions on how are you doing this? And so I was like, you know what, there's obviously a need. And I am a true believer that they're community over competition, and not everybody's a right fit client for each person. There's space for everybody. So that's the other thing I loved, is really connecting with other wedding pros and showing, we can really, we're all work together and really find out who, is our ideal client, and then speak directly to them, so that we can also be working with the brides, couples, grooms, that we want to work with and that we enjoy working with, and not really struggling to get in any client we can. So that's really where it kind of it came from, and how I became passionate around helping wedding pros.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And just the idea of having the power to choose, the power to choose who you want to work with. And I mean, you are such a great example of community over competition, even just in how you responded to me. It was just, wow, another wedding marketing pro. Let's chat. We obviously love the same things.
Yeah.
And Carissa, what she offers here is so great because, not everybody is ready to financially even outsource social media. And some people don't want to outsource it. They want to do it. And what Carissa offers here, and that's why it's so different from I do, she offers you to learn how to do it yourself, but how to do it effectively. So could you tell us more about Brides to Bookings and what people will learn when they sign up for this?
Yeah. So my Brides to Bookings course is my signature course that walks you through kind of building that foundation, like I talked about, because a lot of times people have skipped that part. So they might have even been in business for, 1, 2, 3 years, even longer. And they really have not really done that foundational piece, or things have changed in their business. So going back and, maybe redoing some of that is beneficial. So we really start out with that foundational piece. And then I walk through how to implement a full marketing strategy for their wedding business. So we go into email marketing, SEO, social media. We talk about funnels. So if you've heard this or heard the term marketing funnel, I'll help you actually set that up so we can automate pieces of your business. And so a funnel, a lot of times people don't know what a marketing funnel is. And so to make it simple, I just say it's really kind of automation. It's a workflow. So that way it's less, you can set something up once and you can kind of forget about it for a little bit. So that's kind of what a funnel is. So the marketing, that funnel is doing the hard work for you and the heavy lifting for you in your business from a marketing standpoint. And so that's really the simplistic side of it, on why you need one, because you can have it do the work for you versus you having to follow up and do a lot of hands-on stuff. So we go through and then we talk about kind of strategies within there, but we map out your full marketing strategy within that course, your client experience, kind of everything around your marketing and sales side of things is what I touch on. And it includes my FUEL method, which if FUEL stands for foundation, upgrade, engage and entice, and then launch.
I love that. That's fantastic. And who would you say is the Brides to Bookings ideal for?
Yep. So if you sell to any type of bride, groom, couple, so if you're in the wedding industry, it will help you. So photographers, videographers, wedding planners, DJs, florists, caterers, hair and makeup artists, photo booths, like anybody, if you sell to a service for weddings, then it's made for you.
Fantastic. And what transformations can they expect within the course?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I have when I created the Brides to Bookings was I wanted them to come out of it with being confident and having a true marketing strategy that will stand the test of time. Now, yes, we're going to tweak it as we go because things change, but you have a solid foundation, leads that are landing in your inbox with your ideal clients, and you're getting paid the prices that you're worth. So that's ultimately the transformation that they're going to get is they're going to be confident in their business. They're going to have a true strategy. They're not going to be hustling. They're going to be able to know what hours to put into their business and that it's getting a return on those hours. They're not going to be spinning their wheels. They're going to have, they're going to, when they sit down to their desk, they're going to know what they need to do. And they can really ultimately get back to doing more of what they love doing, whether that's, whatever craft that they do within the wedding industry, or maybe that's spending more time with family, friends, whatever that is, they can get back to doing more of what they love versus spending that time in working in their business, because they'll have those tools in place that will be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for them, and they'll have clear direction on what they need to do.
Yeah, it sounds like it will really help people streamline their marketing, their systems, and their time, which is just a home run.
Yep,
Uh,
correct.
I'm gonna say it. That's more than the knot can do for you.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then
Totally.
the course, is it self-paced or is it something where a different, session loads each week or?
Yep, it's self-paced. So everything when they join, they get everything right away. So it's on demand, so you can go as quickly through it as you want. I do recommend always going in the order that I have it in because I kind of set it up in that order because it builds on top of each other. But it is on demand, and I have a bunch of bonuses in there too that they get as well that they get access to right away as well.
Great. And I'm excited about it. I would say if you sign up, I would take a week off and just
Yeah.
dive in for the week. And it sounds so
Yep.
exciting. But you offer programs for all stages of the wedding professional's journey. And I wanted to know if you wanted to talk about some of the other services you offer in addition to brides to bookings.
Yeah, definitely. So Brides to Bookings is my signature course, and we're actually hosting a webinar on May 10th, a live webinar that I'm doing. And we're going to be rolling out the Brides to Bookings course. So we'll be opening the doors again for it. So May 10th. But I also have Content Fuel, which is a marketing program that it's $27. So it's kind of the inexpensive kind of for anybody. And it gives them prompts for each week that they can then use in their social media. So there's some other fun things within that package as well. But a lot of times I hear wedding pros struggle with what do I post on social media? And one of the things that I really try to say is we need to be authentic. We need to be real. We need to be who we are within our business. And so those prompts really help add some personality to their brand, to their business. And so that is kind of one of the things that I have is my Content Fuel. And then also what you purchased was my Real Wedding Photos Club membership. Mm-hmm. And that is where I have real wedding photos that wedding pros can use within their business for their marketing efforts. What I want to clarify on this is it's not for photographers. It's for, wedding planners, caterers, DJs, people that don't have those professional wedding photos to use within their marketing. And that's been a big sore spot for a lot of people, a lot of wedding pros, because they're busy doing what they love and doing their job on the day of, that they don't have time to try to even take photos. Or if they take a photo, the lighting's off, or if they take a photo, it's not, it's kind of blurry or whatever it is, because they're busy doing what they're paid to do. So I created this membership they get 100 photos each month, new photos, 10 video clips as well, that they can use as they wish within their market. They're royalty free. They can use them on their website, social media, however they want, use them in Canva templates. The wedding pros have really loved it because it's really opened their ability with their marketing efforts. Well, so those are kind of my three main service or products that I have right now that for wedding pros. There's a couple more in the works, but those are kind of the three main ones that we've got.
Yeah, and for me, those two, especially at the price point, are just no-brainers. I mean, I love getting all of the photos because for me, I don't like to use photos that are my clients. And so since I'm not a wedding photographer, where am I going to get these photos, Yep. So I just think it's absolutely fantastic. And where can listeners sign up for Brides to Bookings, and what is the price commitment like for that?
Yep. So they can go to my Instagram. It's actually in my link right now, in my bio. So my Instagram is Carissa Kruse Weddings. And the price point for that, there's going to be a couple different options. So it's $9.97 for, you can pay one payment of $9.97, or there's actually going to be a 6 payment option as well. So that's a couple options there. And then I actually am running an early bird savings on May 10th and 11th.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
yep, so they can get it for $897.
Wow.
For one payment, or the 6 payments, it'll be a little bit less for the 6 payments as well. So I think it's going to be 177, I think is what I had. So it's affordable in the sense of what you're, if you're in the wedding industry and you're really trying to make a difference in your business. I've tried to make it affordable kind of for depending on where you're at within there, because what the value you're going to get out of it, you're going to end up booking way more than that.
Yes, so. Really. It sounds like it's just, it's inevitable that they will book one wedding based on what they learn. And it seems like one wedding will be their return on investment. So guys, I'm just so excited that this exists because I think it's such a no-brainer. But I'm going to have all of Carissa's information down below. And what's even better is that we're going to be live on Wednesday, May 4th, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern on my Instagram at I Do Wedding Marketing. So you can ask her more questions about the program or just ask more about her expertise. And then we're going to be live again the following Wednesday, May 11th, same time on her Instagram. That's Carissa Kruse Weddings. Carissa with a C and Kruse with a K. So in case you can't look at the show notes right now. But is there anything else you'd like to leave our audience with?
The biggest thing is I like to say is as you're building your marketing, just be authentic, be you. That's kind of my motto, is to be who you are within your brand, within your business. So never kind of hide that, because those are the people you usually want to work with, that are, that you like. And so being you will attract those people to you. So as you're building that, just keep that in mind as kind of a base foundation. Be authentic and be you. And if you're ever, struggling, I'm more than happy to have, a quick chat with you to help you see where you're at and get you unstuck, because I never like to see people stuck and kind of spinning their wheels in their business. So thank you so much for having me. And I've loved chatting with you today. This is awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to beg you to come back to do a whole one on wedding expos, because I felt like we could have chatted about that for more. So make sure you guys follow along, because I think we're going to be back again.
Yeah, I'd love it. Let's do it.
Thank you. So it was as good as I promised you, right, guys? How exciting was that? By now, you should already be scrolling to the show notes to get over to Carissa's site, and you can check out all of my information there as well. For now, I will be back next Wednesday with another episode, and don't forget, that's when Carissa and I will be live on my Instagram as well. Next Wednesday, May 4th, guys. May the 4th be with you. I'll see you then.